Homelessness directly impacts my work and my life in the dedication I have to this agency. We do provide food to all people who are in need, the entire community throughout the county, and that includes homeless people and individuals who are going through economic struggles. We serve seniors, we serve veterans, disabled individuals, and people with mental illness. So we really span the gamut of who we are providing service for, but our homeless population, definitely we have gotten to know as individuals as well, and many of their stories are heart-wrenching, but we have seen them from various phases in their life, and many of them succeeding and going on to different chapters.
Well, I know what it's like to be hungry firsthand. I know what it's like to be helped, to be lended a hand. It's affected me in a really blessed way. It keeps me grounded with those in the community that are otherwise overlooked by a lot of people. And I don't mind lending a hand to them. It makes me feel good. They bless me when I come over here and to be of service to the people that come over for some food or a helping hand. It makes me feel with that feeling, working in an office 9 to 5 or doing other types of work. Volunteer work like this, I've been told a long time ago that there's nothing like the heart of a volunteer.
What do I do? Well, when I can find part-time work, or I help people out. Like if they need somebody to wash the dishes for them, or yard work, or I help, I'm bilingual, so I help them out with paperwork or things like that. I'm a helper. I became homeless off and on when I was 13. I'm 51 now. It's hard for us that can't come up with the first month's rent or the last month's rent, or I'm down and out because I have issues about shame or rejection, and then I fell into the victim of drugs and all that.
One of the big issues, being downtown a lot, people come downtown. All sorts of people come downtown for all sorts of different reasons, and people who don't have a house or a home to go to will come downtown for a number of reasons to get their needs met, whether it's perception of safety, whether it's for food to stay out of the weather, to try and raise money, getting money panhandling, to get whatever it is their needs are, some more innocuous than others. So it's a gathering place for the whole community, and there's conflicts in that creates conflicts with a lot of the other reasons that people come downtown for: commerce, for a number of other activities. And there are not enough other places for people to go to get certain needs met. And it's left to the business districts and the neighborhoods to deal with, these very challenging conflicts, because there aren't solutions on a broader level.
It's a problem that affects me even as a stay-at-home mom, because I am actually a participant in the daily life of Santa Cruz more so than other people. Even though it is a public space, I think that it has to do with how much it impacts others. If somebody is talking on a cell phone next to me, it's annoying, but I think it's more likely that I can talk to them and say, hey, I'm bothered by this, and they would turn down. But I've been harassed by this woman walking down the street, she was asking me for $1 or something, and I said, no, I'm not gonna give you $1. I have my kids, and she started cussing at me for half a block, and I just said to my kids, that was when the borders was in, I put them in borders, say, you stay right here, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And I just dealt with a woman, without my children present, and I could see them, kind of wondering what was going on. But I think there's a limit. There's things that are not as offensive in public, but if you're, kind of sitting there and showing things and just spitting and just being, this obnoxious, I think that goes a little bit further than talking on the phone, because you can actually make an effort to make them stop. But how can you stop people from urinating in the little things in the Pacific? So I don't know. I think it's a whole different thing.
Being without a job, not being able to provide for myself monetarily, does a whole lot of things to your psyche. And so it's affected me. I've noticed my moods have kind of declined. Based on that. how has it affected my work? I don't think it has majorly, because I've also been of the mind that I'm going to work in every level I can. Wherever I tell people a lot, wherever I plant my feet is where I'm going to work. So I just try to maintain by doing something. I'm in school full time, always looking for a job, any job I can put my hands on, and I volunteer quite a bit. So it's affected me in many ways, both emotionally, monetarily, and physically to some degree.
Homelessness affects me at my work because I do own a business downtown, and there's always a balance going on between people that are in dire need of assistance and people that are taking advantage of the system. So I always have that sort of balance going on. And then it also, I deal with it extensively in Take Back Santa Cruz. And I think the main thing that I'm always dealing with is educating the public about not using the term homeless for every single, for every single person that, something bad happens to them, or someone that they consider homeless does something, then the homeless have done this to them. And I'm always trying to educate people that we need to start differentiating who's in our community and who is who, and stop using blanket umbrella terms for everyone.
Homelessness affects the community in which I work, live, raise my family. We have a lot of issues in regards to downtown order maintenance issues with some that are homeless, in terms of some that have addiction issues. We have a definite need. We have many that choose to live out amongst our river levee area, which sometimes can bring up complaints from residents that are walking along the levee. With that, again, there's addiction issues. Sometimes there's be alcohol involved. Sometimes there's issues relevant to, aggressive encounters with youth and other people in the community and stuff. So it comes to our attention in many ways. The fact is that there's a big need for alternate shelters, housing, job training, getting people out of their addiction and other issues that sometimes can compound or even lead to homelessness. And then, of course, with the economy the way it is, we're seeing it grow to an even bigger problem now, where not only are we seeing what used to be just the men being homeless, but now we're seeing women more so, and even at times children along with them. And they seek housing, alternate housing in abandoned buildings, as I mentioned, on the river levee and other areas.
I became personally affected by it by losing 3 family members to homelessness. One of them being my oldest son's grandmother and 2 uncles. Sort of run them up and down the hallways at the Homeless Services Center each year, where we hold the Homeless Memorial. And again, the purpose of the flags is to bring awareness. It has the date of their death, their name, and the age at death. And the reason for that is the homeless population, the life expectancy is, like half of what the general population is. So many of these flags will have the age of 40 to 50, some of them 70 or 80, but the majority between 40 and 50 years old.
For the past 14 years, I have worked as a nurse with people who are homeless at the Homeless Persons Health Project. And when I think about how homelessness has affected my work and my life, I think there are a couple things that I think about. The first thing is, I feel like this work I've done has actually been a real privilege and honor to do it. It's taught me about resilience. People who are homeless, I think, often get portrayed in society as helpless or as victims. And I think the story is just so much broader. And when I see the circumstances that people deal with in their lives when they're homeless, we're working with people around health issues. And if you think that you don't have a place to prepare healthful food, you don't have a safe place to keep your medicines, you don't know even where you're going to get 8 hours sleep at night, and yet people soldier through that and work through that and continue to move on with their lives. I often think that if I were faced with those circumstances, I have a comfortable bed to go home to at night, I think I would just curl up in a little corner and die.